You could be watching a guy pissing in the creek at the Masters, or you could be with us winning your fantasy leagues. Welcome to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast, a sports ethos presentation. I am joined today by FSWA Hall of Famer Steve, Dr. A. Alexander, and NBA and NFL extraordinaire analyst Jon Mosales. We got a huge show for you guys. We have just chaos in the NBA. Looking at my list of players to kind of keep an eye on here. As we're going to be talking streamers, getting you through the Friday, Sunday action. I got 46 players of interest. It's a sickness, folks. 46 players of interest.
It's going to be a 7-hour podcast.
Andre, our intrepid producer, said, let's keep it under 45. And I had a spit take. But guys, we're going to go through this and try to figure out how to steer the ship here. You're obviously probably playing in a roto league. I would imagine if you're going to the end here. But as we discussed all last couple of weeks, there are a lot of leagues that end their head-to-head playoffs this week. So, whatever your flavor is, we're going to get you through it here. Let's start by just bringing in Jon. How you doing over there, Jon?
What up? You said we could be watching the Masters or winning leagues. Why not both?
News break. Dr. A is actually doing that right now. Anytime he looks over, down, and to the left, I believe he's watching a shot.
No, I've got it right. I've got it right under the camera, so you can't even tell.
It's beautiful. Beautiful work there. I would like to go to sleep under this desk. Personally, I have 8 top 3 teams and another 3 that I think are in contention over at the BKC or whatever the acronym is now. And that is crazy time. Spent the last 48 hours just trying to game out, which team's going to do what and what's competing with what, all the different categories and all the different projections. Big shout out to the crew at Ethos Fantasy BK for having all of our intel just in nice, perfect little cubbies. So I can, especially with my my TOS and various injuries over here, I can actually make that happen. So big nights. All right. So we are going to start with our top streaming options for today. What did I say? Ethos Fantasy BK? It's Ethos Fantasy NBA. I'm sorry. Fire me. We got a lot of games tonight, and the news is going to come rolling in. Stay tuned to the Ethos Fantasy NBA news feed. Get the Ethos Fantasy app. That thing is so valuable. It's free. You can get it on either the Google or the Apple store, and you just don't have to cut through the social media nonsense out there. You don't have to watch a YouTube video like this. You just hold the phone in front of your face and you can know who's in and out of the game. Where do we want to start, guys? Jon, what are you doing today? How are you organizing your intel? What's that process looking like for you?
Honestly, I don't even know. I don't remember. Is the season always like this? Everyone plays Friday, everyone plays Sunday, no Saturday?
It's been like this for a couple years now.
It's weird.
Yeah, it was even weirder when it wasn't like that, where it was just kind of a normal schedule. I think what they did is they realized that some certain teams were gaming the system and decided to do it this way. So you got no process. You're just shooting from the hip.
Well, I do mostly head-to-head leagues, but then I do all the weekend pickups, so I am a little dialed in. But the one thing I've noticed is you're trying to check percentage of players rostered. It's skewy because so many, I think, Yahoo teams are probably head-to-head, and a lot of the hot guys who've been good over the last couple of weeks aren't getting picked up because they're not involved. Stuff like Jeff Dowtin Jr., I think he's top 2 the last 2 weeks. He's only 6% rostered, right? He had 30 points last night. What are we doing?
No, the funny part is he now has one more game of eligibility unless for some reason Philly signs him, which I don't think there's any reason for them to do so. For the quote rest of the season. So you're just trying to figure out which game he's playing, and it'll probably be a great game.
Probably, yeah.
Doc, what are you doing for this Friday? What's your prep other than watching golf with a hard L?
Hey, Aaron, it's good to see you too. I like that intro. That was nice.
Thank you so much.
I always tell people you shouldn't be setting your DFS lineup until the news comes out that night, right? So you play with it during the day, but then really hunker down around 6:00 when the injuries start coming in to make sure you don't have a 0 in your lineup, right? Now more than ever, this is D-Day. Tonight's injury report is going to be insane. And Oklahoma City has already ruled everybody who's worth anything out. So Jalen Williams, the other Jalen Williams, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, like those are guys that are going to go off tonight because Oklahoma City literally has nobody left to play. And there's a lot of teams like that that just aren't going to play their guys tonight or Sunday. And so you got to be really careful with the teams that have not got anything to play for. And you want to focus on the teams where you know what's going to happen. Like, that cluster in the West where it's the Lakers at 17 back. And then there's like 5 teams or 6 teams, a game or 2 games behind them. And they're all going to be fighting as hard as they can tonight. So picking the studs from those teams, and then you pick the sleepers. Your cheap guys are going to come from the teams that don't have anything to play for, that they're sitting all their studs. So, but trying to figure out who's going to do what at noon is kind of tough.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, no. I don't want to steal your thunder, John.
Oh, I was just going to say, there also might be some chicanery with teams like you've got the Clippers at a 5 seed. They might maybe want to drop out of that Thunder bracket and go to a 6, so they could end up sitting Kawhi, which would be smart, and playing, Bogdan could be getting plenty of minutes and dropping 30. It's like you could try and zig and you're going to get zagged. There's nothing you can do except refresh the injury report every hour and hope it's not a bloodbath.
That stuff's fascinating. Doc.
Orlando, just in the last few minutes, Franz is not playing tonight. Banchero not playing tonight. Wendell Carter Jr. not playing tonight. So that Anthony Black looks really good tonight. Tristan Da Silva looks good. Goga Batadze looks good. And then an hour from now, some other team is going to be like, we're benching everybody tonight, and then you got a whole new list of guys to look at. Like it's just going to be. It's going to be wild.
It's one of the best nights of the year, best weekends. Like we're heading out for vacation on Sunday, and I already told my wife and son not to try to talk to me between the hours of like 9 and 1 p.m., 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. on Sunday, because that's when all the games are going to start, and all chaos is going to start to break loose. But I got an idea. Let's eschew our intrepid producers and run down here, and let's kind of try to approach this like in an organized fashion,
like adults,
like adults, like real adults. We're not going to go pissing in a stream and talk about streamers right off the top of the bat. I think I made that work. We're going to talk about teams that we think are most likely the rest players, because they're like the stuff you're talking about, John, with like the Clippers, that's very, very important stuff. And there are certain coaches that handle it differently than others. Like I think Doc Rivers is like a classic. We're going to win every game guy, and on down the list. So
he's up 3-1.
I know that's a big problem for him. We got teams that are most likely to rest players was a question that was kind of posed to us before the show, and I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. John, let's start with you. Who are the guys that you're looking, or teams that you're looking at as rest players teams?
Well, I'd probably go see who played last night, right? Because that seems to be the new trend. It's like you really want to. Nobody plays back-to-backs. So, I think Memphis played last night. Ja had a big game, right? If Scottie Pippen was there, I'd be smashing him because, right, Ja's probably going to sit.
Memphis is in a dogfight, though, dude. They have to win tonight. They have to win.
Okay. Yeah. See, that's the thing. Every time you find one angle, there's another one that pops up. It's just tough. Are you trying to get those guys in that 5, 6, 5 to 10 seed, or do you want the, on the Wizards, right? The Bob Carringtons, Kaishan Georges, Alex Sars, these rookies who like to blow up late, right? Richeche had 36 points again or something last night, but he's only 31. Yeah, he's only 31% rostered. I mean, he's top 50 last month, but I mean, it's just tough. Would you go lottery ticket like Adam Bona, right? He's like top 35 last month. Or do you try and go with someone more stable? Because everyone's playing. So unless your team's screwed and, you got 6 guys in the IR and you don't have a, choice to play, there's going to be a lot of coin flip decisions that teams are going to have to make.
I think the Bona has to play no matter what.
Yeah, of course.
Doc, did you have any teams that are just on your radar as these are teams? I think you mentioned Oklahoma City. Who else do you think is just outright going to rest guys?
Raptors.
Well, first of all, I want to talk about the Memphis thing real quick, because as of right now, Friday at noon, Memphis is the number 7 seed, which means they're in the play-in tournament. But they are tied with Golden State. They are tied with Minnesota. They're all 47 and 33. So whichever one of those teams wins tonight helps their cause. Because I would actually say that if I was the coach of one of those teams on the bubble, I would rather risk injury to one of my good players and try to get into the top 6 so I don't have to deal with the play-in tournament than I would rest guys. Like Oklahoma City would be like, can you imagine if Shea played tonight and got hurt and they're 14 games up on the next best team? Like, that's why nobody's playing in Oklahoma City. Rick and I don't think they're going to play on Sunday either, because you can't risk Shea going down when you're the favorites to win the title. So I think they're going to wrap them in bubble wrap. But in Memphis, if they lose Ja Morant, if they lose Ja, they're done. But if they don't get into the top 6, they may not get out of the play-in tournament, and they're also done. So I would rather risk something bad happening and trying to get into that top 6 than try to preserve my guys. Brew, your question was what other teams are shutting it down?
I forgot what my question was. Allow me to be the Ernie Johnson to you guys as Chuck and Kenny and Shaq. We got. We were talking about teams that were going to rest their players. We got some
Oklahoma
news rolling
City.
in too. Yeah,
Oklahoma City. I don't think they play all weekend.
Yeah, to build off that point, like it'd be crazy if they rested today and then showed up for the last game of the season on Sunday to play the New Orleans Pelicans. And these are games that are generally junky. You got a lot of players that aren't going to be in the league. You got guys that are trying to make a name for themselves, diving for loose balls. I've got a lot of lineup decisions with SGA, and the more I think about it, the more I think he's just a zero for these last 2 games, and that's going to be that. Other teams that I think are kind of rest teams, just to kind of list them out: Boston, Cleveland. Cleveland, it looks like they might play a group of guys today. We'll get that injury report here real soon. And then I think they probably don't play that last Sunday. Houston has nothing to play for right now. They've been resting guys, and they have like guys like Reed Shepherd who have plenty of talent that need to get out there and make a name for themselves for this last stretch here. I think Phoenix is, obviously they're resting Durant, but wouldn't be surprised if they drop the curtain on that thing. And then Portland at some point doesn't have anything to play for. And I think that they might just kind of cruise to the finish here. There are teams. Was somebody supposed to say something?
I would say Denny Advia. I saw he was on the injury report. I think he's top 6 the last 2 weeks. Oh man, that would be crushing if he doesn't get to play, because I think Scoot and Simons are already out.
Yeah. And
Denny's. I think Denny's done.
And the fact that he's cooked. Go ahead.
All these teams that are eliminated, like the Suns, like why does Bradley Beal need to play on Friday and Sunday?
And they hate him in Phoenix.
Yeah, like why play him? If Denny's hurt, Portland's not going to play him. Does Chris Paul really need to play on Friday and Saturday for the Spurs who are out?
Interesting thing with Chris Paul, he hasn't missed a game this season. Chris Paul.
Well, and that's the other angle, because Jared Allen has not missed a game either, and he started last night when everybody else in Cleveland was in street clothes.
And Kenny's going to give him that.
He started because he wants to play in every game, and I'm sure if Chris Paul hasn't missed a game, he will play in these last 2 games, but it may be 10 or 15 minutes in each one.
There's so many things flying around this show. Shout out to Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller for campaigning for Kenny Atkinson for Coach of the Year. I did not like that very much. I think that came out right. I did not like that very much.
I think Barkley was hyping up your boy, though.
Dude, JB Bickerstaff is going to make me rich. Thank you, JB. Thank you from the top of my heart too. What else we got? We got news that came through. We got Denny doubtful for tonight. Anthony Simons out. I think the Denny thing is the big clue that Portland's shutting it down there.
Banton season.
Well, yeah, Shaden Sharp is
going off.
Is he questionable or doubtful, Andre?
I did not see a report on that, so I'm thinking he might be in the game. Let's get to Miami. Go ahead.
We just talked about it in the last show. Rick said he was on the injury report.
He's on the injury report. Okay, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Miami is playing their regular rotation. They get a New Orleans squad, and this kind of dovetails into something that I noticed in the standings is they get the New Orleans squad that can play to win. And almost all of the tanking teams can just outright play right now. They have the flattened lottery odds at the bottom. You've got teams that are 2 wins away from each other all over the place of the bottom 8 or so teams or whatever the number is. And that bodes well for all these guys that are kind of younger and they're good. And you might want to sit them if you're jockeying for a lottery position. These guys kind of are all systems go, which is silly season at its peak, but it's going to be good for those teams and good for those players. What else we got? We got Isaiah Stewart listed out. That's great for me. The team that's in first place in the overall at the NFBC has Isaiah Stewart in a very, very precarious spot. He's going to be struggling to have active bodies in that lineup. I'm not saying, I'm rooting for that. I guess I am rooting for that. What else we got? We got OG, Brunson, Cat, and Hart questionable for New York. They got to play in New York.
Well, yeah, 1 game up on the Pacers.
Brunson's hurt though, dude. Like he hurt his ankle last night. I will be surprised if Brunson plays tonight. But then again, I won't be surprised because he's Brunson and because he plays for Thibodeau and they want to win. But if I'm the Knicks, like I was talking about earlier, we're already in, right? Like we're playing for seeding, but we're in the playoffs. I need Jalen Brunson healthy for the start of the playoffs. If he's hurt, I would not play him tonight. But I
realize
I don't know what
we're talking about here.
I don't know what Tibbs is doing.
You realize what coach we're talking about here? What player we're talking about?
I'd rather be in that 4 or 5 seed and get that Cleveland bracket and have to delay playing the Celtics, right?
That's very interesting, John. That's something I was just wondering about before the show. Is like if you're Indiana or I guess New York, like do you want Cleveland?
The Knicks,
Boston.
The Knicks are 0-7 against the Celtics and Cleveland. They have not beat either team, so I don't think it really matters. It's like corn oil and peanut oil. Can't tell the difference.
I freaking love that.
Back to streamers. I think it's like the guys that are kind of can flip flop game to game. Like I was looking at Kai Jones's game log, right? He's 20-10, and then a game or two ago he played like 2 minutes. Right, it's guys like that can swing it because you got Brow, you got Gafford, you got Lively, but then you sit 1 or 2 of them, and then Kai Jones can go off. It's these big trick or treat guys. Najee Marshall too has been great. He had I think 24 last night. Those are the swings you got to do you take them or not? Right.
Well, and we got to watch and see if Kai Jones gets a contract here for the end of the season. I know that they really, really want that in Dallas. At least the fans do, and they got weird roster math going on there. But yeah, I know it's that kind of a thing. I mean, we're going to get into some names here. But lastly, I just wanted to point out this whole group of teams that I'm about to rattle off, they're 1 outcome away from getting to sit their guys. That's New York, Indiana, Milwaukee, Detroit. Detroit and Milwaukee play twice, by the way. And that's just super interesting because of playoff seeding in the East. Then you get Los Angeles Lakers, Sacramento, and Dallas as teams that can, depending on if they win or the team next to them wins or loses or whatever the math is there. These are guys that on Sunday you might just be coming up empty because the outcome broke that direction. And you just kind of got to take that into consideration here. Okay, let's get to some names. Like I said at the open, I got 46 names of players here of interest. Tobias Harris available. Just came through the wire here. What do you got? Who's at the tops of your list? Let's just start firing off names. Let's go, Doc.
The list of potential streamers?
Yeah, age before beauty.
Well, you mentioned the Pelicans. And the nice thing about the Pelicans is they've already shut everybody down, right? So last night we saw Keon Brooks go off. Matkovich went off. Antonio Reeves went off. Quinones went off. Jamal Cain, my boy, scored 20 with this is legit,
a
steal and 3 threes. All of those dudes are available in almost every league, and they're going to play Friday and they're going to play Sunday. And I would say fire them up.
And they can play to win.
They're
It's a
not
really
worried
good
about
situation for
tanking.
them.
They're not going to win. They're going to get blown by 40 every game, but these guys are going to play, and they're going to put up numbers.
It'll make for a nice and messy game. I had Karlo Matkovic as a highlighter guy on my list. Okay, John, who do you like?
I'm not as dialed in as Dr. A, but I guess it's just you just target these terrible teams. Tristan Vukovic on the Wiz had a nice game last night, and then any of these rookies, right? Kaishan George has been crazy with the defensive stats all season. He didn't have any last night. Or I think the Nets are shutting everyone down. So if Keon Johnson's not available, I know you guys dropped him in the post-trade pod, Dr. A. That was helpful. But I think Jalen Wilson's having a nice little run. He's older, I think second-year guy who's got some potential. People were upping Drew Timme, but I'm not really on that bandwagon.
He had a double-double last night with what Timme do? Timme had a good game. And I only know that because I predicted it on yesterday's show, but he was 13 points, 11 boards, 6 assists, and 3 threes. The Nets are a disaster. Like, I was all in on freaking Reese Beekman of the Nets last night. I was like, he had 10 assists in his last game. He's going to start. He's going to go off. He played 13 minutes. But Drew Timme went off. And that's the thing with the Nets, man. You're totally rolling the dice. Whereas with the Pelicans, I feel like we know who's going to play. If Alvarado gets ruled in, that obviously you got to factor that in, but they were out last night. But with the Nets, I feel like Beekman could go off and Timme could suck. Like, you just don't know, but they're all in play, and we really need to see the injury reports. But even with the injury report, Beekman started, but he only played 13 minutes. So I don't even know what you do with that.
Beekman's been a player of interest in the Brooklyn situation for a few weeks now. Drew Timme top 130 over the last 2 weeks. That's kind of what you're going to get, I think, in the next 2 games. But it's probably going to be at the top of the Brooklyn list. Okay, I'll toss one out. We'll go Vit Krejci's been making noise. Ooh. Atlanta might decide that they don't want to play that last game and want to try to get him up to speed. So I'll toss out a Vit Krejci. Not a highlighter guy because I got about 15 highlighter guys here. One of those was Reed Shepherd. Mentioned him a few seconds ago. What else you got, Doc?
Well, I think Reed Shepherd's a good one. Especially if Houston takes these last 2 games off, Reed Shepherd's going to ball.
He's top 190 in 12 minutes a game over the last 5 games.
I think that Ime Udoka would like to see him run the offense for 2 real NBA games.
That would be great.
If I was Houston, Jalen Green, Amen, Şengün, none of those guys would play Friday or Sunday. I would play all my scrubs and just let them rip. So I think Reed Shepherd is a pretty good call. What you got, John?
My brain just went. Where were we? Oh, I think teams like the Magic, right, where we know we're losing Paolo, Franz, all this usage rate. The Scourge Cole Anthony, right? He's probably one of those guys who's just going to fall, who's happy to take 25 shots. I haven't checked his percentage, but he's got to be under 20%,
And trying to get healthy, he's been out a little bit, so this is a good ramp-up time for him. He was definitely on my list, as was Aaron Wiggins, who was mentioned a little bit. This would be a great Goga Bitadze, welcome back party at some point. He's been terrible over the last 2 months. I haven't seen a player like him go from being so good in fantasy to so bad in a real long while. He was top 50 for 2 months.
Yeah, he was.
And then he was literally top 400 the rest of the way.
And then the Thunder, interesting too, because they're so deep. It's like the other Jalen Williams he's almost a triple double every time he gets the full run.
I would call that Jalen Williams a must-add player.
And I don't know if Usman Jang, pardon me, is
he's hurt.
Playing. Is he hurt?
He's hurt?
Okay. He's just this guy that racks up stats. AJ Johnson, I think, is back off the injury report. He was pretty good early in the year.
I think he was 1 for 11 last night.
Yeah, that rust factor is not great there. Charlotte, KJ Simpson didn't get suspended. And, I'm not expecting great things out of him, but he's been a top 110 value over the last 2 weeks. Luke Cornett in Boston, not one of my highlighter guys, but factors in there to clean up the Boston mess. Oh, we got breaking news. Tyrese Halliburton has been ruled out. It appears Indiana is happy to take the 4 seed, and my own TJ McConnell, who I have everywhere. Oh, yeah. We're going off here.
Bro,
yeah,
you know
TJ
who
McConnell.
You know who else is going to go off? That's one of your boys.
Thomas Bryant? No.
No.
Who?
Oh, not for the Pacers.
Who's going off?
You ready?
Yeah, I am.
Craig Porter Jr.
Craig Porter Jr. He's going to go off. Look, I did not know that Ty Jerome was going to be this good of a basketball player. Like, I just flat out say it. Like, he just came back and destroyed the league.
And Ty Jerome is doubtful for tonight.
Ooh, he had like 24 last night. Jesus.
Craig Porter Jr., baby.
Craig Porter Jr. I was like, I can't wait to have
arguments.
I love the fact I'm breaking news to you, Bruce. It's awesome.
Another thing to consider with this is like the 65 game thing, right? Like the Raptors have Scotty, who thinks he's going to be an NBA third team, delusional. So he's trying to play. Like, he's playing in all these games for no reason. The Raptors are 6-4 in their last 10, when every other team that's tanking is like 2-8.
Siakam out.
Well, Siakam
Smith out. Nembhard out. Toppin out.
I do not want to see the next update be TJ McConnell. That would scare me. You mentioned he's got to play. He's got to win me a bunch of leagues. Come on, baby, let's go. You mentioned Toronto, John. Jonathan Mobo, everybody. Jonathan MNF and Mobo, Mr. Triple Double. How about that?
Oh, he's doing it with dimes.
That's amazing. And he gets to play with Scotty. They're good friends from childhood, I guess. And that's silly season in a nutshell. I just didn't know with Mobo if he could have good stats, and it feels like they're coming from the assist category, which is a little bit weird. You could see that a little bit before. I'd like to see more consistency in the defensive stats for him. Certainly a capable player, but questionable on the stats side. Ben Shepherd doubtful, Neesmith out. Like Obi Toppin, Thomas Bryant should be well positioned for big games. As mentioned, TJ McConnell might be a run, don't walk kind of a pickup. Is there any more to the injury report?
Obi Toppin is out.
Jesus.
Jacob is out. Jacob Toppin is out.
Oh, it's Jacob Toppin. It's the
okay.
Toppin.
Thank you.
Obi Toppin is in. I read the wrong name.
Fun with injury reports. I love it. So Obi Toppin
for the record, Obi Toppin is playing tonight.
And Thomas Bryant is in, but I mean McConnell has this. I said this last week. I was like, he has this like pop-off factor where he just comes in and they say it's a TJ McConnell show and he goes for 27-7 with 3 steals and a 3 just for good measure. And that's what we're hoping for here tonight. Okay, I'll spin us into a different direction here. Let's
real quick. Mm-hmm. Can we talk about the Pacers? Like, who's going to play for the Pacers tonight?
Sure. Yeah.
Benny Mathurin is going to go off.
Oh my God.
Obi Toppin is going to go off.
It's almost TJ all Ben Mathurin
is going to go off. I think Obi Toppin is a must add for tonight. You got to play him. You got
trying to keep it together.
And then you mentioned Luke Cornett, bro.
Oh yes, I did.
Bro. He's a must add player because Al Horford and Porzingis may sit Friday and Sunday. If they play one game, the other one's going to sit in that one. They're going to flip flop. Cornette's got a clear path to 28 minutes both nights, maybe 35. I think he's great at right now.
What about Sam? Is it Hausner or Hausner?
Hauser has struggled with a back injury for like ever, but this is the time that a Sam Hauser goes off.
Because he can just drop 12 threes.
And along the same lines, Sam Merrill, I was watching that game, listening to Reggie and Kevin Harlan try to ruin my dreams. They kept shouting Sam Merrill's name. And I'm like, damn, Sam Merrill, like, you're going off. He's top 90 over the last 2 weeks, and one of those people in Cleveland that I don't know about if it's going to be this game. It feels like they might play this one out tonight, and then Sam Merrill might go off in the last one. But yeah, Sam Merrill. There's questions in the chat. I'm going to just leave those for a second. What about Jalen Pickett?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Love it.
Love it.
Westbrook did nothing in the last game.
Got fired.
Yep, it's a new coach. Westbrook did nothing in the last game. Pickett looked really good, and he started it. And I think normally when Jamal Murray's out, we automatically turn to Westbrook, and it's like, oh, it's Westbrook's show. That was not the case. It was Pickett. And I don't think that they would go put him back on the bench if Murray keeps missing games.
I got into the private chat, and I understand the question that Andre's asking. What do you guys think about the indie crew that's just sitting out right now? Do you really think they're dropping them or they're resting them for 2 games? Like, would you, with these big name players, Tyrese Halliburton, and even like in OKC, with those guys getting declared out on Friday, would you drop these guys in head-to-head?
I'll go.
You can't drop Halliburton because if he plays Sunday, I think he's like the 5th overall player, right? You got to, even if it's a 30% chance, you still got you can't drop Halliburton.
What do you think, Doc?
We talked about this with Brunson and Shea because what if Halliburton plays Sunday and gets hurt? And they're already telling us that they don't give a what about the standings. Because Indiana right now is in 4th place. They can't be caught by Milwaukee. So they've given up. They're not going to try to catch the Knicks. And they can't. They are locked into the 4th seed.
Here's a fun little subplot. Indiana's last game is against Cleveland. So if they're aiming for Cleveland because they're scared of Boston, I said it. They get Cleveland, and do you really want to tip your hand? Like, I know these teams have played each other, and it's not like rocket science, but like, do you want to like go hard in that game when you're going to play them potentially in the second round? It doesn't. To me,
the Pacers just told us that they don't care. They're going to be the 4th seed, and that's it. So even if they list Tyrese Halliburton as a starter on Sunday, I think it'd be a 15-minute game.
Yeah.
He's not trying to play in all 82. There's nothing left to prove.
Yeah.
Well, he's been injured all year. That's why I was.
And he could use rest.
Yeah, that's why I picked up McConnell, even though it was really, really tough. He had a decent week last week. This week started off so bad.
So back to the question: would you drop Tyrese?
I would. I'm with you, Doc. I get what you're saying, John. And I mean, depending on teams, maybe I would hang on. Maybe those 15 minutes would be better than most players in the league.
But if
it's a head-to-head league,
right? But you can afford to sit him if you have healthy guys. I'd rather be more pissed off that he's sitting than drop him and then he ends up playing.
So it's a good strategy point right there. But it really does depend.
If you can sit him and keep him and Shea both, I think those are the two. Like, do we cut them to pick somebody up, or do we stay with them?
I'll put it
if you can afford to do it, you put them on your bench, or you put them in INJ plus, which that would be ideal. But you may have to cut them. And if games played matter, like I'd rather have 2 games out of, I don't know, one of those chumps
Derek
we talked
Jones.
about from New Orleans. I'd rather have 2 games from a guy I know that's going to, or at least I think is going to play in both games, than a half game of maybe Ty Halliburton. I would cut. If games played don't matter, then I wouldn't do it. If it's a roto league.
I want you guys out there to feel like the strength of conviction. If you're going to have this situation, you need to add another player, go for it. Like that's, this is the tough time of the year, and names on the back of the jersey don't matter. But keep in mind the things that John's saying here with the strategy. If you can just keep them on the bench, that is going to be ideal, because there is a universe where these guys suit up for 15 minutes. And in those 15 minutes, it might be just given a given amongst the players that, hey, these guys are going to take the ball, they're going to do whatever they're going to do in those 15 minutes, and they're going to get lost. So they might just have great stat lines.
Here's a good one. I would cut Franz Wagner to pick up Jalen Williams right now.
With a Y.
Orlando is locked into the 7th seed, and that's that. So they have nothing to play for, and they've already done their ramp up as well. So they're kind of playoff ready at this point.
They might want a division banner, though, right? They're up 2 on the Hawks, 2 to play. I think they have a head-to-head. Banner.
But they shut everybody down tonight. Like, they're not winning tonight. It's done.
Yeah, I think they're locked.
Trey's playing.
And they're 8-2 in their last 10 games. They can kind of like go off on a high note. I'm good with fading the Magic here. Let's get into some other names so we don't lose the names. I'm just kind of going like alphabetically in my list of teams and seeing, like, we did mention Jeff Doughton Jr. If you have a 1-game shot and Jeff Doughton Jr. is active, I think he's definitely somebody to look hard at. He could go huge. Donovan Klingen's probably on a lot of competitive rosters, but he's been top 45 over the last couple weeks. In Phoenix, Colin Gillespie's been top 60. They probably want to see him play Oso Ighodaro, Ryan Dunn. Those 2 guys. Dunn's a little banged up. I don't like that, but you want to see the young guys play at this point in time if you're Phoenix. Who else? Utah. What you guys like in Utah?
Well, I want to talk about Gillespie. I like Gillespie a lot more. I'm sorry, did I?
No. By all means.
You mentioned KJ Simpson earlier. I'd much rather have Gillespie. And like I said, why does Brad Beal need to play Friday and Sunday? He doesn't. Nobody on Tyus Jones doesn't need to play Friday and Sunday. Free Colin Gillespie is what I'm saying. I love that call, Brew. And then your boy Mobo, I think, is an awesome pickup right now as well. Like, there's so many guys. And like you said, the names on the back of the jersey don't matter anymore. Cut Franz Wagner and cut Paolo Banchero and pick up Jalen Williams and Mobo. If you want to go 4 games.
Also, the thing, Jared Roden, right? He's been great. I got screwed with him earlier in March in the head-to-head playoffs when they sent him down to the G League when he had 20-plus back-to-back. I don't remember something like that happening. Is that because of the apron where teams are just getting these 10 days and can't extend them?
You should go ask Keston Paul. He is the man. He's got it all figured out. And check out the layup line. He's been breaking all that stuff down. Anytime I had a question about any of that, I was just living in the layup line. All the games remaining on the 2 ways and this cap stuff. I will just outright say I'm not a cap expert and I don't want to be, but it does come in handy to know somebody that is. What about San Antonio? What about San Antonio? Who do you guys like in San Antonio?
I like Julian Champagnie. Chris Paul, did we already talk about that? He's played in
he's I think it's a great selling point. If Chris Paul wants to play another season, he could say he played in all 82.
Yeah. I just don't know how many minutes he'll play, but I like Champagnie and Harry Barnes. I don't know how or why, but Harry B just keeps balling, dude. It's 6'3", 0'9", and won the game.
Put the dagger into Golden State. That was
and I had Golden State. All they had to do was win the game as part of a parlay, and the other parts of the parlay hit, and Harry Barnes ruined it, the whole thing. But Harry Barnes was part of it too. I needed him to hit 2 threes and hit 6.
I'm sorry, Doc. Go ahead.
I don't know if Harry Barnes is going to play anymore. He
I think he will. Weekend off. I think he's having fun, and I think they kind of want to reward him. But who knows? You just never know.
But if he plays, I would roll with him because he's hot, man. He's been really
top
good for
12 the last 2 weeks. Jesus. Top 12. He's a first rounder.
There's kind of the unsung silly season heroes, like kind of these veteran chuckers, right? You're talking about Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson's been good, Lonnie Walker, all these kind of ex-Spurs guys. Are guys kind of in their prime, either playing for a contract or a roster spot. They can get a bucket, and teams are happy to just let them shoot.
Yeah, we've hit a lot of these 46 players of mine. It's probably like 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe tops that we haven't at least touched on. And I want to tell folks we have a couple big announcements. We have some fantasy basketball playoff leagues we're going to talk about here. John's the head of our NFL department, so you guys got to hear about this stuff because the NFL and the MLB departments are going off right now. And so I want to make sure to preview that before we finish up with some of the names here. And let's stop in Utah. Like Kyle Filipowski, first of all, I benched him the other day because of the 28% shooting before in the probably I think 2 games prior. And then I joked internally here. I said he's going to go, I say 12 for 17.
Yeah, 30 and 18. Jesus.
Then he went 13 for 17 or something. And I just like curled into a ball and cried a little bit. But I mean, he's like a must start player, I think, of these next 2 games. Bryce Sensabaugh. Do you guys like anybody else there in Utah?
Johnny Juzang. I mean, yeah, Keontae George has been high rostered all year, even though he's not very good. Collier is not really playing that much. Utah, but Filipowski has been probably must roster for almost all of March, right? Since they started sitting down Markkanen and then Walker Kessler. Like, I remember I dropped him early March, and then every time I looked at his box score after, he's 20 and 12 with threes. It was, it's one of my.
He's done really well this season. We covered Washington. A random name to keep an eye on there. Colby Jones is top 160 over the last 2 weeks. He might bust loose for 1 or 2 good games. Nothing earth-shattering there. Other than that, I think. Wait. Do not, Andre. Do not do that. Oh my God, I hate you. He's dropping McConnell's name in the chat and then just telling me that he's not ruled out yet, just to get a rise out of me. Just to get a rise out of me. This is what I deal with here.
I noticed you guys are mentioning their value over the last whatever days. And I think we're not looking at names on the jersey. Like, these are the last 2 games of the season. And we're going to see guys emerge and do crazy stuff that aren't even, like, we wouldn't even think it was in the cards, So I wouldn't get too hung up on looking at the past,
anything,
trying to figure out this weekend.
Forget everything like when you're learning to surf, getting taught by Paul Rudd. Peyton Watson was a part of that Denver drama for not getting played that much. So I would be curious if Peyton Watson kind of goes off. In Golden State, they actually control their destiny. So I think if they win tonight, I think they are mostly in the playoffs. Let me just look at that real quick. But that Buddy Hield, Moses Moody kind of region of the box score is, has that potential to light up a little bit if they get a little bit of extra run there. Chris Dunn is always good. He's got a bad knee, so I kind of curious if guys like he and Derek Jones, like, they theoretically would be guys that could get minutes. I don't think they're worried about them for the playoffs so much, but they're kind of banged up. But they could be really good down the stretch.
But Kevin Porter Jr., right? He's a guy I've loved. He's 81 last month, but he's only 17% rostered. I mean, he's
going off. Going off, he is, and that's going to be a spicy 2-game series between them and Milwaukee and Detroit. I think he's top. I think he's a first rounder. Kevin Porter over the last couple weeks.
Well, Brew, I gotta give you props on that, because I was like, I'm going with Ryan Rollins.
He's been okay
last week, and I was like, I'm going Ryan Rollins. You're like, I'm gonna go KPJ, and KPJ had an incredible week. So great call by you.
Yeah, top 15 for Porter, top 70 for your guy Rollins. So not bad.
Golden State, Memphis, and Minnesota all have the identical records. Golden State holds the tiebreaker, I believe, so they are technically the 6th, but they cannot lose one of these games. I don't trust Buddy Hield any farther than I can throw him.
Anybody in Golden State?
I would not mess with him or Moody, dude. I would not do it personally.
It is dicey business there,
and they have to win, so it should be all Steph and all Dre and Jimmy.
Before we get to NFL stuff, I'm going to keep this thing moving along because I think we've exhausted the clip here. But I want to throw where did he go? Jordan Goodwin. He is I don't know if it's my house or your guys' house. Jordan Goodwin is built for the last 2 games of the season. Last year he disappointed a lot of us because they just didn't report on his status ever in Memphis. He is in Los Angeles, and I believe he's active still. So keep an eye out for the Los Angeles box score. They don't have so much to play for there.
Lakers.
They are, I believe, almost all but clinched into the 3 seed. And
Denver can catch them.
Okay.
Clippers can catch them.
Denver with their dead coach bounce. Love the narratives coming out of Denver. Okay, let's we've covered most of the league. We've covered all the players you should keep an eye on. I think we've kind of swept the pile across the floor toward the door. Let's do this. Does anybody have any wagering plays that they really are attached to and really want to spit out here?
Well, I had Pacers minus 9.5 at home against the Magic, but both teams are resting all their players. I'm not putting a dime on that game. Who knows what the hell is going to happen? I've got the Jazz plus 9.5 playing against Oklahoma City at Utah. So it's at Utah. Oklahoma City is going to have like 6 players dressed. Normally, I would never throw any money at Utah, regardless of what's going on. But I kind of like Utah plus 9.5 against the super reserves from Oklahoma City. It's going to be like Alex Caruso, Isaiah Joe, Jalen Williams. They're all going to go off tonight. But hopefully Filipowski and the guys in Utah can hang with them. So I like those two. I also like the Hawks minus 10.5 at Philly. Trey's going to play. The Hawks need to win, and Philly is still trying to lose games. So,
all right. I'm actually putting my bets in right now, so I'll just say them. John, did you have anything on that front?
No, you got to be a sicko to bet on these games. I can't even cross that line.
And I have the sickness. Okay, we're starting off with Washington plus 17 against Chicago. Chicago's not that good, and Washington, I think, has no impediment to winning. I think they're going to play this thing hard, and I think Washington's got way better players. I think you've taken some of the problematic players out of the lineup from a winning standpoint for Washington, so I like plus 17. I'm taking a lot of dogs. New Orleans, they got nothing to do but win in this game, and Miami's not that good. I don't think they should be a 15-point favorite over anybody. Who else do I got here? Yeah. Yo.
Donovan Mitchell, out. DeAndre Hunter, out. Ty Jerome, out. Sam Merrill, out.
Jesus.
So Cleveland is taking
and that I believe means that Mobley is in. Garland is probable. We're getting that in the chat here.
Max Strus?
I'm going to guess Max Strus is going to play. That was my hunch coming in.
I like your boy, though, with Ty Jerome not playing and DeAndre Hunter not playing. Your boy
Craig Porter.
I mean, yeah. I think
you get his name right. That's Craig Porter Jr. to the masses.
And Donovan Mitchell's not going to be out there, so Craig Porter should go off. I'm not betting on that game either.
I like Toronto plus 12.5. This Mobo Barnes connection is rocking. They got a lot of players in Toronto that are better than anybody knows, and they can also play to win. And Dallas has got a lot of pressure on them in this game, and yeah, it's going to push them to play hard, but I don't know that they're so good that they can hold off a mean Toronto Raptors squad. Denver, I had -7. Are they on the board? Let's see. Denver -7. Yeah, I think with Memphis coming into the altitude and having played, and they lost last night, but Denver is, there's a lot of spotlight on these players right now, so I think they're going to play this one hard and try to win. Utah, Doc, I'm with you on that one at plus 9.5. So I'll put these bets in as we're talking here, and we shall see how this
You're
goes.
Actually placing bets right now. You don't know who's playing.
And placing the bets.
That's what they call gambling.
No. There's no gambling involved here, guys. This is
what time is it there? Like,
it's
like 10 o'clock in the morning?
Something like that.
And you're placing NBA bets on the last 2 games of the season. That's awesome, dude.
You know why? Because I see the future.
I can't wait to see how this goes.
Okay. A bunch of bets just got placed. I've got all the money in the world, JBB, baby. No, kidding. We won't count the money until it comes in. Okay, so John, you're not just our NBA editor.
John's not there right now.
Oh, This is a great time to introduce John. John's like, hey, I got to go pee in the creek.
I did. And I got a hole in one.
Oh, sweet. Golf, everybody. Golf. John's not just our NBA editor. He's our fantasy football lead. Pardon me. What can folks expect with the fantasy football draft guide, John?
Trying to find the perfect elixir. I don't know if you're the Marvel guy, Doctor Strange, find that one perfect team, for fantasy, because fantasy football is even more chaotic than basketball. It's really hard to kind of, it's a war of attrition just to survive at the end, right? So we got the NFL draft coming up. And also rookies are a lot more relevant in football than basketball. So, landing spots and backup running backs. So we're going to try and answer every question, cover every format. Like Superflex is a big emerging market. Best ball, if you're, if you like to bet on basketball in April, you'll probably love best ball because you get to do, Anthony's our best ball guy. He did 200 best ball drafts last year. Oof. You just do a draft, set it, forget it. It's the dream. We're just gonna be covering everything, answering every possible question, every possible format. I'm getting better at this every day. I've been doing research all morning. Well, I got stuck on the YouTube loops about rookie wide receivers. It's super exciting, and we still got like 3 months before we really, start nailing down all this crazy data.
Man, I love it. You're definitely doing the work. You're in the rabbit hole. Take the red pill, take the blue pill. I don't know which one, but definitely. Yes. Well, take a pill, whoever you are. And you guys can get this. If you're a basketball subscriber already, you can get the All Sport Pass for just an additional $1 a month. So check out sportsethos.com. And if you have any questions, you can send it over to support@sportsethos.com. And we can get you pointed in the right direction. And that's just an incredible value. Also, we're making a ton of investments in the platform right now. So if you guys have any wants, needs, wish list, roadmap, you name it, let us know. Send that on over to support@sportsethos.com. You could tweet me at Aaron Bruski. You could tweet John. What's your Twitter handle? I forget.
At Jon Mosales.
Okay. Rolls off the tongue. I love it. What else do we got here? Oh, new schedule for the off season, folks. So we have new episodes of Fantasy NBA Today dropping every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday until August, and every weekday from September. And you can join us live every Monday and Wednesday morning. See, I know things. Okay, any last words, fellas, before we get out of here? Doc, what you got? The leagues. I got one more big thing for you guys listening out there. Sorry, Andre. But Doc,
and that's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that. Thanks, Forrest. But before I say goodbye to John here, there is one huge thing, and I'm going to get crushed after the show for not saying this earlier. We have fantasy playoff leagues, and John, you are involved with these, so you can talk about this, right? Am I reading that right? Yeah. Thank you so much. It's just been a whirlwind of fantasy basketball stuff over here lately. So these fantasy basketball leagues, John, why don't you talk about them?
Yeah, this is kind of my baby I've had in my head for like 10 years, right? Everyone loves fantasy. Fantasy ends, the playoffs start. Playoffs are the best part of basketball, but fantasy is kind of also the best part of basketball. Why can't we have both? And then I've always just seen on these, on Twitter, those stupid little things where it's like you got, a certain amount of money, pick all these players, but then you do it. Everyone thinks they have the best team, and then nobody ever gets to decide. So this is a league. It's every team has 5, players ranked 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You got $15 to spend, and you got to build the best starting 5 for the playoffs. Can't have multiple players on the same team, right? So like we got OKC, Shea's $5, Jalen Williams 4, Chet's 3, Hartenstein's 2, and you get anyone else for $1. Lots of different ways you can build a team, right? You think right off the bat, maybe I go Shea $5, Jason Tatum $5, take the 2-1 seeds. But if you look at the last couple of years, Dallas was a 5 seed last year, right? Luka would have been the best player, right? Dallas played 22 games 2 years before. Heat were an 8 seed. So it is chaos because historically people would just get LeBron, but he's just not that great anymore. So I just think it's a really fun way it's like community notes for basketball Twitter. You got to put your money where your mouth is. It's like best ball for basketball. You draft your team, you never have to set it again. And then, by the end of the finals, right, you won, you lost, or at least hopefully you're still in it.
So I should know more about my own company, but can you tell the folks how to play? As I would like to play in these leagues. I had a lot of fun with this format in football. I was able to win a national championship by doing this whole like try to figure out who's going to go as far as possible, and then also try to take the best players at the same time. I remember walking into the final draft for the football one, and the great Greg Rosenthal gave me this advice to just take the best player regardless of what you think is going to happen. And that was Larry Fitzgerald. And watching him just score touchdown after touchdown after touchdown and win the big one, this format is amazing. I love it a lot. How would I or somebody else get involved in that?
Well, we're still figuring that out, but we're going to have 3, I think, separate leagues. One's free, one's going to be $20, one's 50, and it's unlimited size, right? So every player is available. So, technically, there could be hundreds of people in the one league, and then, you get the pot spread out. So, yeah, we're going to have the link up soon. I'm going to be promoting it on my Twitter, DMing people. I want to get this going because I think it's a super fun way to do it, and it's just so easy that you just draft it once. You don't have to do anything else, and just check the blurbs for the updates on the box scores.
I love it. So you can reach out to producer of the show, Andre Lemos. Oh boy, AndMlemos on Twitter, or you can reach out to support@sportsethos.com. We will be tweeting about it. You'll see a lot of updates about it. So that way, if you're following all of the Twitter accounts at Ethos Fantasy NBA, at Sports Ethos, you should be able to figure this out here in the next couple of days if you want to get involved. I'm going to be playing and winning the whole thing. Take that, people. Okay.
I have a playoff auction league draft next Thursday. This coming Thursday.
Ooh, auction. How many dollars are in your auction? Like 100?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
No, I just acquiring minds. All right, folks. Good luck. Thank you guys for being so supportive during this year. We've had a ton of changes here, made a ton of investments. Just trying to move this operation into a better place for the industry at large. So thank you guys for your support. Please do send us in feedback as much as possible. We're building this thing for you guys. So let us know how you guys want us to build this out. Thank you, John. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Andre. Thank you guys out there in the Twitter internet world. This has been Fantasy NBA Today, presented by somebody. Is it Bet Online? I guess Bet Online gets a free one today. That'll do it, you guys. Good luck and be well.
Sponsored by Sports Ethos.
Sponsored by Sports Ethos. Take care.
By the Masters.